It's happening again. The New York Yankees are engaging in a blockbuster trade talk, which would net them a star third baseman and bolster the team's defense and overall play, while also giving some built-in chemistry to their 2025 ball club, while also unloading Marcus Stroman's contract in what could be a monster deal for the team, as the Yankees are in trade talks as we speak. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Yankees Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as usual. And guys, if you're enjoying the channel, if you want daily New York Yankees news, rumors, updates on trades like this video, updates on free agency, game recaps, series recaps, live streams are coming. Make sure to subscribe to Yankees Digest. We have a ton of fun here, and you guys do not want to miss out if you are a baseball fan. However, let's jump into this because we have a lot to discuss. The New York Yankees, they've entered a very, very interesting part of the offseason, as they still don't have a clear answer at their third base position. There's been a lot of different names that have been rumored over this entire offseason that now is coming to a close, as in exactly 2 weeks from today, the New York Yankees begin preseason against Tampa down in Florida. And baseball will be getting underway a month later. So the Yankees are setting up their roster. Pitchers and catchers report in less than a week. On top of that, the rest of the team's reporting very soon as well. So we're about to see things get underway. And the Yankees still don't have an answer for who their third baseman is going to be this season. I mean, Aaron Boone has given a bunch of different updates to who could potentially be an internal option. Meanwhile, Brian Cashman discussed a lot about the market still being open and what the Yankees could be doing, not really giving a clear answer on things. And well, it's been revealed by MLB.com that the Yankees have re-engaged in trade talks for a star third baseman, as after failing to make much trade progress elsewhere throughout January, the St. Louis Cardinals re-engaged the Red Sox, Yankees, and Dodgers about a potential restructured deal for their star third baseman, Nolan Arenado. This would be an absolutely massive trade for whatever team can acquire Arenado, who's one of the best fielding third basemen in baseball and still a very solid hitter as well. And MLB.com mentioned that a sticking point in any Arenado deal could come down to how much of the $64 million remaining on his contract the Cardinals are willing to absorb. Initial trade talks in early January broke down when the Cardinals refused to pay as much of $20 million towards the balance of Arenado's contract. Now, that's where things very much become murky if you are a New York Yankees fan, because we know something about the New York Yankees. We know something about how Hal Steinbrenner's operating. We know something about how the Yankees are going to have to operate, and that's that Hal Steinbrenner is done spending real money. He does not want to spend money. He does not want a big contract on the Yankees. He wants Marcus Stroman's contract offloaded, and, well, Nolan Arenado makes some big bucks. So the Cardinals would have to take some of that money in order for the New York Yankees to really engage, or Brian Cashman is going to talk to the Cardinals and say, look, I want Arenado. Don't get me wrong. I like him as a player. I obviously think Nolan Arenado is a phenomenal MLB talent, but my boss will not let me trade for him unless you guys pay X amount for the contract. And potentially you might have to take Stroman off our hands also, which has been something that has been discussed in the past between the New York Yankees and the St. Louis Cardinals. But now that is going to come back around. I'll tell you one thing. If the Yankees truly get deep in trade talks for Nolan Arenado with the St. Louis Cardinals, Marcus Stroman's name is going to come up a lot, where the Yankees are going to pitch giving Stroman to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals might be anti it. The Yankees might have to give a better prospect in order to get it done. They might have to pay some of Stroman's contract or take more of Arenado's contract, and then it comes down to, what does Hal Steinbrenner want to do? Is he okay with that? So there's going to be a lot of questions for the New York Yankees in their pursuit of Nolan Arenado. Now, the Boston Red Sox are also interested in the star third baseman, but there are some questions, as the Red Sox, their manager is Alex Cora, and well, Cora has a connection with Alex Bregman, and Bregman is still a free agent, and the Red Sox are one of the teams, one of the finalists for Alex Bregman in what has been a really underwhelming sweepstakes for the third baseman. Now, Bregman's also talked to the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's been adamant that he wants a 6 or 7 year deal. I'd imagine the other team that he's talking to is the Detroit Tigers, if I had to guess. It's not very clear. The two that are very known are the Blue Jays and the Red Sox, meaning the Yankees will likely see Bregman within their division for the next 7 years, and for the next 3 years, that will be pretty dangerous. Now, I would still love the New York Yankees to sign Alex Bregman, but they're just not going to, so there's no reason to really talk about it. However, Nolan Arenado does still become realistic because of the fact that the Yankees could try to get him for cheap and for a discount price. If the Cardinals can't move on from him, Arenado wants to be traded. He has a no-trade clause, and that does affect a lot of things surrounding him. Now, as mentioned by Sports Illustrated, that he has that no-trade clause in his contract, which is a potential obstacle. He already used it to block a trade to the Houston Astros in December, so the man's not afraid of blocking trades off. He didn't want to go to an Astros team that's just frankly falling apart. Like, they signed Christian Walker, which is great, and they still have Jose Altuve, who's aging, and Jordan Alvarez, who's one of the best players in the MLB, but their pitching staff is underwhelming. The rest of the team is underwhelming. I'm not saying the Astros are bad at all, but they're just not good enough to where Arenado didn't want to go there. Also, Arenado maybe has a problem with the whole cheating scandal from a few years ago, which wouldn't surprise me, and, well, the Astros fully deserve that. So I'm happy Arenado didn't go there because he's good, and I'd rather the Astros get nobody good ever. So this is a win for me as a Yankee fan and for you as a Yankee fan as well. And SNY did mention that earlier in the offseason, the Yankees reportedly checked in with the Cardinals on a potential Arenado trade. However, talks broke down once St. Louis showed no interest in taking on Marcus Stroman's contract, and that's where the biggest obstacle for the New York Yankees lies. They need to find a way to get Marcus Stroman's contract involved, or, well, frankly, this deal just doesn't really have too many avenues of happening. However, Arenado could push to go to the New York Yankees because of the fact that he's very close with Paul Goldschmidt, who signed on a discount with the Yankees. Goldschmidt got offered more money elsewhere, but decided to go to the Yankees because he wanted to play for a contender. He wanted to play for the New York Yankees, where he would be an everyday first baseman. So it does make some sense that Arenado could try to force the Cardinals' hand and say, hey, I'm going to block every single trade unless you trade me to the Yankees. Now, he's not going to do that because he's fine going to the Red Sox as well. He actually seems like he prefers the idea of the Red Sox, but the Red Sox prefer the idea of Alex Bregman. So if the Red Sox sign Bregman and Bregman or Arenado are not open to moving to a different position, Bregman has said he's open to moving to second base. Meanwhile, Arenado has said he's been open to moving to first. So that is something that people should be aware of. But there is just this chance where the Red Sox are out on Arenado because they signed Bregman, and John Henry doesn't want to keep paying guys like Hal Steinbrenner. So if that happens, then Arenado could say, well, the only team I want to go to is the Yankees, so make it work. Or just make it work. Figure it out. I don't care. Just figure it out. Get me to the Yankees. So there's a world that Arenado could do that, but it does become difficult as Arenado hasn't shown the most. It's not that he's not interested in the Yankees. I don't know why people are saying that. That's not true. But he hasn't shown the most interest in the Yankees. He's just shown more interest in other avenues and other teams. Now, look, Arenado is the best possible third baseman the New York Yankees could get right now because it's either him, some very low-level free agent, or someone within the organization already. Arenado had a 2.5 WAR last year. The batting average was very solid. I mean, the OPS has slipped in recent years from what it used to be, but still solid player. 720 OPS for an elite fielding third baseman is very, very solid. Slugging percentage is all right. On-base percentage pretty good. Guy got 71 RBIs last year, 16 home runs. He's a fine player, and he gets to play with Goldie again. And yeah, it adds a lot of righties to the Yankees lineup where you're going probably 6 righties, 3 lefties most of the time, which isn't ideal, but it's not the end of the world if you stagger the lefties well enough. So you could figure that out. It could work out in the end. But Arenado just gives you someone who you could trust at the plate. You could trust him on the hot corner. It works out, and it makes a lot of sense for the Yankees to still try to land Nolan Arenado in any way possible. It still feels like it's a little unlikely, but they definitely could get it done. And when you look at the other options the New York Yankees have, the contract is going to be worth it. Like, I understand. Hal Steinbrenner doesn't want to pay it, and the Yankees will have to get some of this contract offloaded by the Cardinals. But then you look at a guy like LeMahieu, who would have been cut from or DFA'd from the Yankees, but the veterans prevented it by saying they liked his leadership and everything. Now, LeMahieu had a negative 1.6 WAR last year, highlighting just the awful season that he had. 527 OPS, which is way down from his career average. The batting average sunk to a .204. The man's it feels like he's cooked with all these injuries. It would be shocking to see him be able to do much for the New York Yankees. Oswaldo Cabrera is another option, and look, his hitting is very questionable at points, but his fielding is very solid. He's a good base runner. He's athletic, and he's got a really great arm. So he could easily handle third base. He could handle that hot corner well. It's just not the most intriguing option. Here's the thing. Maybe a full season of playing third base, he'd be able to get it all to click, especially being a switch hitter, which would help the Yankees out a lot. It gives you a perfect ninth hole hitter right there in Oswaldo. So you could just toss him in, and you could just use that lefty or righty bat right at the end of the lineup. I think that makes the most sense, especially because the leadoff hitter will likely be Jason Dominguez, who's also a switch hitter. So you could even move Oswaldo to eighth or something in the lineup and Volpe to ninth, something along those lines, so you could spread out a little bit for your switch hitters. But it would be nice having two different switch hitters in the lineup. And, I mean, there's a world where Cabrera does make it work with a full season. Also, again, solid base runner, which is nice. On top of that, the New York Yankees could just go to Oswald Peraza, who I would love to see the Yankees give a real chance to, because I do believe in his ceiling a lot as an elite base runner and elite fielder and a solid hitter as well. I mean, he's shown some pop in that bat. And in the minors, he had 16 home runs last year and 371 at-bats, which is the same amount of home runs that Arenado had and 500-something at-bats. So that's interesting to see. In 10 at-bats with the Yankees, he hit a home run. He had a solid everything. Again, it's only 10 at-bats. It was only a few games, but 773 OPS is very intriguing. The on-base percentage was not great, but the slugging percentage was very good. And again, it might be just a small increment, but still, it's interesting to look at. And especially when you see that his on-base percentage and slugging percentage have been good in the minors, along with an all-right average. I mean, solid minor league stats as well. So it's really interesting to look at Oswald and see how he works. And I do think that he's the best option for the New York Yankees if they can't land Arenado, which I do think is going to be a stretch, but they probably will be able to pull it off if Arenado can force the Cardinals' hand, so it's a matter of that. But guys, let me know what you think. Is there any chance the Yankees can pull off this Arenado deal? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Yankees.